Here's my prediction. I think by the end of this calendar year, we'll be over 100,000. Bitcoin's forming this nice declining flag. Top of the flag, it looks like you kind of break out at 66 from the flag. You break out from the all-time high at 72 or 3. I think when we go through those, we're going to squirt up to 100, like, very quickly. People who embrace Bitcoin and save in Bitcoin terms, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids are going to notice the difference in a very meaningful way, in a very, very meaningful way. And so that's why I do what I do in terms of advocating for this kind of quote-unquote perfect form of money.
Despite recent price movements, with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies continuing to trade in the same range for months, prominent cryptocurrency investors and analysts are certain of an impending breakout in the next few weeks, which they say will finally see Bitcoin break the current all-time high and continue the ascent until we hit 6 figures. Sound money advocate Lawrence Lepard has an optimistic $100,000 price prediction for Bitcoin before the end of 2024, and he is 100% convinced that there is still enough time for this to be achieved. Larry and others who hold similar bullish predictions for the leading cryptocurrency believe the U.S. presidential election in November would be a permanent and profound turning point for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices. According to the Popular Portfolio Manager, if pro-crypto former President Donald Trump wins the elections in November, Bitcoin and the entire digital asset space will immediately see a surge in demand and a significant price explosion, as the regulatory uncertainty stopping investors from going all in will be permanently resolved. In his latest interview with Stephan Livera, Lepard discusses the world's growing inflation problems and the urgent need for hard assets like Bitcoin and gold. As we bring you clips from the video, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
From what I can see, if this is a fair election, and that's a big if, we'll discuss it in a minute, Trump wins this. I think that, enough of the country is hurting badly enough based on the economy, the inflation, the economic policies of the administration, that they're going to say, get me out of this. I want out. I want to go to the other side. So that's my gut, feeling right now. However, I've read and seen and investigated, all the shenanigans that happened with the last election. And, I recognize that it's probably, 4 or 5 states, and within that, maybe 4 or 5 counties per state. So, I think if you could, jam 20, absentee ballots into 20 counties, you might be able to influence the outcome of the election. So this is what Stalin said: it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. And yeah, I mean, I hate to be that cynical, but I don't put anything past the other side. I mean, two attempts have been made to murder, Trump, and his being president again is really kind of existential for a lot of people. I think from a crypto point of view, there's no doubt Trump would be more friendly because he's talked about, having a light touch in terms of regulation, or maybe even making it legal tender, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't thrilled when I saw him announce that he's going to do his own Trump shitcoin, which, some guys, it's just, you can't get to certain people, right? I mean, he likes to try and make money, and he likes to promote people, and it's in his nature. So I was disappointed when I saw that, but of course, of the choice between the two, for me it's obvious, because one is much more pro-business and pro-crypto and pro-Bitcoin than the other. I mean, I think on the other side, as we were discussing before the show, I mean, they took down Silvergate, Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army. They've tried to block a lot of the on-ramps. I'm an investor in custodian. Caitlin's had an enormously difficult time, and I mean the politics and the bullshit that the administration has pulled, and the administration and the Federal Reserve have pulled to try and keep Bitcoin and crypto within their sphere. It's outrageous. And if we had fair courts, we'd be winning enormous damages. But my sense is we don't have fair courts either. So, but honestly, I can't tell how it's all going to shake out. I mean, the bull case for Kamala is the abortion issue. Is a hot button for a certain portion of on both sides, and the fact, there are women who are, irrespective of where they are on the economy, they're going to vote that single issue, and they feel like there's a lot more women's choice and freedom and reproductive rights and so on and so forth. And you can call it whatever you want, but they feel much more comfortable in the Democratic Party. So I think if the Republican Party kind of got their act together on that particular issue and arrived at some decent compromise, the Democrats would be just completely dead. But that's the one issue that I think gives Kamala a little bit of strength. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we're going to know very, very soon. No matter what happens, the other side's going to be very upset and probably claim fraud, and we'll have to see. I certainly hope that Trump wins. I intend to vote for him. I vote in Florida, and I intend to vote for him. So, but we'll see. It's a tough call. I mean, one thing I will say on both of them, though, I don't think. I think Kamala spends more faster. Okay, I think there's more UBI, there's more debt forgiveness. There's just, she thinks she's got an unlimited checkbook, and they're gonna, in my view, they're gonna go full modern monetary theory view of deficits. What deficits? We can just print to handle it. That's that side. I think there will probably be a little bit more restraint on the Trump side. I mean, But I caution that he says he's going to balance the budget. He says he's going to cut all these costs. I mean, my sense, but he also wants to cut taxes. My sense is it's going to be pretty hard for him to really make a big dent. I mean,
for decades, sound money advocates like Lepard have been arguing that what the U.S. really needs is an austerity program, measures which would help reduce government spending and shrink the deficit. During election seasons such as this, politicians all but declare they have a lasting solution to the problem, and they would effect changes as soon as they assume office, but that never happens. Even in-house players like Fed Chair Jerome Powell are beginning to openly admit that there is a problem and urgent solutions are needed. According to Powell, politicians need to have an adult conversation about the debt situation, but we all know that will not happen. Instead, they will choose the easy way and continue printing and debasing the currency until a collapse becomes inevitable. This is why Lepard believes the advocacy of hard assets like Bitcoin and gold is very crucial to our continued survival as a nation, and maybe even as a species. Here are more clips from his interview.
People who embrace Bitcoin and save in Bitcoin terms, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids are going to notice the difference in a very meaningful way, in a very, very meaningful way. And so that's why I do what I do in terms of advocating for this kind of quote-unquote perfect form of money. I think that's why Saylor does what he does. I think it's why we're all doing it, right, Stephan? I mean, if you've got a libertarian bent, you realize that the problem is that the state controls the money and they use it as an instrument of power to control all of us and to create wars and to kill people. But we are in a position to rein them in on money because we don't have to use their money. We can use our own money. And we've now got a form of money that's totally fair, widely distributed. Everyone plays by the same rules, can't be messed with. That's a very, very powerful thing. Very powerful. And so, give it time, another 10 years, another 20 years at the most, it's gonna solve the problem, in my opinion. So we're going in the right direction, but I know it's frustrating. I mean, a lot of people would say, hey, we're stuck at 58,000. Well, yeah, we are. It's annoying. But I said, I was with Natalie and James yesterday, and I said, here's my prediction. I think by the end of this calendar year, we'll be over 100,000. Bitcoin's forming this nice declining flag. Top of the flag, it looks like you kind of break out at 66 from the flag. You break out from the all-time high at 72 or 3. I think when we go through those, we're going to squirt up to 100, very quickly. So, and I think the gold is a tell. The gold hitting records, and the awareness on the part of a larger and larger part of the world that something's wrong. I mean, the disconnect is, you've got guys like Krugman tweeting, "Hey, we've done it. We've landed the plane. 2% inflation, 3% inflation. It's all good. Everything's great." And I tweeted back to him. I said, "Yeah, okay. If that's the case, then why is gold at a record high? If you successfully landed the plane and inflation's under control, then the price of gold should be going down, not hitting new all-time records, right? It's hitting new all-time records because it says you guys are debasing the currency and you're going to have to debase it more in the future. That's what gold is telling us right now. I don't think there's any doubt that the governments will try to keep the system functioning. And if the release valve is inflation, so be it. The economy's going, ticking along, but it's inflationary. I think there's a possibility though that they lose control of that inflation on the next one, and that's really the issue. The issue is, we're in a period here where we're shifting from everyone believing in the deflationary trend in the stock market, which we had for 40 years, and the correct choice was always to quote unquote buy the dip, because really, if you bought from 2008 onward, if you bought the dip in the S&P, you've been rewarded. I mean, it might have been painful when you did it, but you've been very, very well rewarded. And that's all because the overall deflationary trend was in place and interest rates were lower, so stocks were the best alternative. I think as we've turned the corner here on that issue, and you see it other places too, like you've got this potential dock workers strike, and labor all over the world is realizing that their purchasing power just got destroyed by 40%. And guess what? They want to share. They're like, okay, you want to keep the economy running? That's great. You're going to increase our salaries a lot. And, the dock workers want 60 to 70% over 10 years. Well, even if you take that divided evenly and say it's 6% a year, that's a lot more than 3. So we've entered an inflationary world, and in my opinion, and so that's what's going to, ultimately create the problem, because the government has to sell bonds in order to finance these deficits, and they want lower interest rates, and so they will. I think Powell's going to continue to chop rates. I think he's going to take them down 50 at the next meeting and 50 at the meeting after that, because he knows that with the federal debt the way it is, that, the $1.2 trillion run rate on the interest cost is just destroying the budget, and they've got to get that down. Now, they're going to get it down in the form of doing more short-term bills, because no one wants to buy the long stuff.
As much as we are expecting them to happen overnight, we must bear in mind that the big moves will not come when market sentiments and spirits are still so high and people are still able to make these predictions. It is until the market is driving everyone crazy, and even the strongest analysts no longer trust their abilities, that the big moves will finally begin, taking Bitcoin first above $70,000, then above $80,000, and towards 6 digits. Fortunately, we are beginning to see the first stages of this despondency. Renowned macro analyst and former Goldman Sachs executive Raoul seems to be the first to throw in the towel. In a recent post on social media platform X, Powell bans himself from making more predictions and declares that bananas, representing his banana zone predictions, are a shy fruit. The post reads, "Okay, everyone, including myself, making predictions on when this Bitcoin range breaks are banned until further notice. Bananas are shy fruits." More posts like this, and the banana zone will finally begin. But remember, the moment will be fleeting, ending almost as soon as it begins. This is why you must do all you can to hold on for dear life and ride the wave to the very end. Please share your thoughts on Larry Lepard's interview and Raoul tweet in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.